would be the best. Rather than you do it every other day, then other day you're kind of getting your mind saying, oh, tomorrow I have to do it, today I have to do it. Rather than if it's in your schedule, you have it there. So that was a very good point that out of the 5, the 4th one was very good, as you mentioned. We have to all keep up with it. Thank you. So with this, we'll start our next area of speech, the prepared speech.
I'm your evaluator.
Okay, all right.
I'd like to welcome Mr. Morris, our veteran Toastmaster. Please give a warm round of applause.
Fellow Toastmasters and fellow Toastmasters. I am here this evening to give you an interesting work experience story. And this story starts off at a previous job that I had years ago. I was working for a fire protection company, and I was an engineer for the Marine Division. This place was very interesting because it was a toxic environment and sometimes high pressure. And it's high pressure in a lot of places, even if it's not toxic sometimes. But in this particular story, there's very interesting elements to it. Again, I was a marine engineer doing fire protection design for ships and boats. And there was this one particular fire protection design that was done, and as far as I remember, this particular project was not designed by any of the engineers in the Marine Department, as I recall, and I do not remember specifically what vessel it was or what type of fire protection system it was. But what I do remember is that, as far as I know, there, I think between the pipe shop and maybe the middle level manager, this design was done. And as the word of the day says, there was some shanghai possibly going on. And I'll get back to that word of the day later in the speech. But as this design was nearly completed, they needed an engineer to sign off on it. And I had a cube mate who was part of the design, the marine design department, and he obviously did not sign off on it. And as a little aside, there was a person who was a relative of the CEO of the company. He had just gotten his law degree, and he was doing cross-training at the place, and he was working with the pipe shop. I said, wow, a degreed lawyer working at the pipe shop. That's interesting. Man, this place is very interesting. There's a lot of things going on here that are interesting. But as the story goes, he was at the pipe shop at the time, and I received a phone call in reference to this project from the pipe shop supervisor. The phone rings, I pick it up. It's Maurice. Maurice, we need you to come back to the pipe shop. And as I recall, I think I was suspicious of this person already. And I said, "What for? What's going on?" And it's interesting, he used reverse psychology on me. He said, "Oh, we just want to ambush you." Okay, hung up the phone. And then I walked from the cube to the pipe shop. They were in two different buildings. So I opened the door to the office, and one of the pipe shop workers, he grabbed me by the shoulder, "Get in here." And then the pipe shop supervisor was telling me, "Well, you need to sign this. You need to sign off on this." And it turned into a full court press for about 10 to 15 minutes, going back and forth. You could imagine the type of words that are being said. But at the end, after going back and forth, us throwing barbs at each other, psychological barbs at each other, him trying to get me to sign and me trying to bypass that and get out of there, I finally left and I headed back to my seat, and I was telling my cube mate, "Man, this guy tried to get me to sign this design, that we didn't do." And then him and the lawyer who worked at the pipe shop came to my supervisor's office, and all of a sudden they tried to get him to sign on it. And between my engineer supervisor and the pipe shop supervisor and the sales person for the department and the middle level manager, there were real strong personalities. And all of a sudden, he was going off on these people. "I didn't sign it. I didn't." He was talking real fast. Me, if I go off, I can't talk too fast and sound coherent at the same time. But this guy, you could understand every word he was saying, and he was going off on them. "I didn't sign it. It's not my design." And they were looking at him, and I could only see them. I couldn't see him, the supervisor in the office, but I wish I had a video camera. That was one of the moments I wish I had a video camera. But anyway, he did not sign it, and then the middle level manager, he came by, said, what's going on? Why aren't you signing this? So the moral of the story, if there is a moral of the story, is just hold on to your guns, because I could have just given in and signed it, and who knows what would have happened. I could have got shanghaied, or the other people in my department would have gotten shanghaied. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. That was a little interesting incident.
Yes.
Yeah, we work in an environment, sometimes when the projects go ahead, they'll go far way ahead where they shouldn't have started. Now you have the managers and directors trying to, just run through it, get it over with. Now they're looking for somebody to sign off and accept that. That's a very hard situation to be in. That's the hard call to answer, actually. So, without any delay, I'll like to welcome our favorite topic master. Please give us a warm round of applause for Tyler.
Hey guys, as I said earlier, I will be up here to Shanghai you and answering personal questions in front of a crowd of people to test your skills and help you think on your toes. So, I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm going to ask, I'm just going to ask for volunteers. Who wants to volunteer first? Alright, Diego. So, what was the most memorable moment you had last week?
That's a great question, Kyler. The question that was posed to me was, what was the most memorable experience I had last week? Fortunately, I can say with great relief, that my most memorable experience last week did not involve being shanghaied into signing off on papers or designs or projects that would put people's lives in danger. So fortunately, I'm not a victim of that type of toxic environment. But what I do think was very memorable for me last week was, right now I'm engaged in a chemistry research project. We are looking at artificial sweetener contamination in water streams and things like that. And basically what you need to know about what artificial sweeteners are they're basically what is in Diet Coke. Like, it tastes sweet, but you don't get the calories for it. You don't consume them, and they just leave the body very much easily. They are very abundant across the US and across the planet, period. So it's very difficult for people like me who are trying to measure these types of contaminants without contaminating the samples themselves, if that makes some sense. The good news that I wanted to share with everyone was, through the meticulous work ethic of my team, we were able to make a control group of water samples that did not have contamination of these artificial sweeteners. And I cannot communicate how difficult it is and how stressful it is for someone like me to think about, oh my God, did I make this water sample properly? Did I cough these artificial sweeteners into the sample? Is this work all for naught? So the most memorable experience I had last week is that I was able to do analytical chemistry research without contaminating my own samples, and that's something that I'm very thankful for, and that I hope I can continue in the future as a chemist. Mr. Tabletop.
Diego, that was really cool. As someone who, of course, is, like you said, we're all affected by artificial sweeteners. They're in, like you said, almost everything. So it's very fascinating because there's so many different ones. And, how they affect us is so different. So it's cool to hear about that. And then it's kind of cool to think about, lately I've been trying to meditate on what I'm doing each week and what stands out to me during the week, because we don't take the time to reflect on those successes. The weeks fly by, and you naturally, if you're like me, you naturally only think of the negative things. So if you don't take the time to sit down and write down your successes and think of the positive things, the weeks will go by and you become worn down. So meditating on those positive things is good. All right, so next question. Volunteer for the next question. Cheyenne? All right, what is your favorite fictional story?
Hello, Toastmasters. I just asked this question. It was my favorite fictional story, so I was just thinking about it today. How disappointed I was when I found out it wasn't real. And that is the movie Gladiator. I thought it was a real story because the king was real, but then if you look up the main character, that part of the story was made up. It is, if you haven't seen it, it's a man who is discarded from where he lives, and then he comes back for revenge on the king, and it is amazing. Which also ties into one of the future trips I hope to take, which is to Italy to see the Colosseum. I want to listen to that song when he reveals his identity and stand in the Colosseum. So that is my favorite fictional story, and I wish he was a real man in history, but he wasn't. So, here we go.
Thank you. My favorite fictional story happens to come from the same director as Gladiator, and that would have to be Blade Runner. So I've probably mentioned it a million times. The reason I love it so much is I'm actually a robot, but we'll talk about that later. So all right, go ahead and volunteer for the next one.
I'll try.
All right. Let's see. What is your favorite quote?
I am a queen of quotes. I see I quote just about everything, some way or another, every day. So one, I don't have a favorite quote. It's impossible for me. But one of the ones that I admire the most is, if not said wrong. It's by Maya Angelou, and it says something about people show us who we are from the very beginning. We just fail to see it. And that is so true. We later on complain or get upset about what someone we met, this person meant something to us, or something that we thought they meant, and then later on we discover that they didn't. But actually, if we just take time to get to know a person and get to know who they are, the real you is always there. So, just like for me, I think every speech I give is going to be something motivating, whether it's funny or sad or serious or whatever, because that's just who I am. So, I think that we should always take time to see who a person is, because the person will show you who they are at the beginning. We just fail to see it. And that's my quote from Maya Angelou.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad that you were the person who responded to that one, because you started the meeting off with quotes. That's perfect. One of my favorite quotes is, it's like by Mark Twain, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I like it. He's like, go to heaven for the climate and go to hell for the company. Which, that's not theological, it's just making a point of, getting to know, the way you get to know people. You may compare, someone, like similar to the quote that you mentioned earlier, someone may seem one way and then be another way, and it's just kind of saying, like, meet people where they are, and, everyone's in a different place in life. All right, let's see. Who do we have a volunteer for next?
Luke should get back up again.
I was thinking.
My shoulders.
Man, my shoulders.
You can do it from right there.
Move the camera over there, Mark.
So I completely got shanghaied by
If you get to use the word
All right.
every day.
So the question for Luke will be, what artistic medium do you use to express yourself? And it can be anything. It can be like playlists and music, the way you decorate your house, the back of your car, the way you decorate your car. What do you use to express yourself?
All right, good evening, everybody. It's good to be back. So, what medium do I use to express myself? I have to say that you did mention the house. I do keep my house pretty straight. I have a thing with 90-degree angles and liking everything to be orderly. I don't like my desk at work to be messy or anything like that. So I think organization would definitely be one. And also too, my yard. I'm kind of picky about my yard. And so I love my garden to be nice and clean. I don't like any weeds in it, so I definitely spend a lot of time out there. It's nice and peaceful. I don't even listen to music. You just kind of stand out there and just enjoy it. And so I guess I would have to say just kind of organization and keeping things tidy and clean looking.
I like that answer. That was good. Often whenever you say artistic, people kind of start thinking of like painting and sculpting, but really it's everything. It's how you express yourself. Organization is art. Your garden is art. Your house is art. Everything that we do, anything we put effort into is an artistic expression. Let's see.
I think we need to wrap it up.
Wrap it up. All right. Well, that'll be it for our table topics, and thank you guys so much.
Interesting area for our meeting. With this, I would like to invite Shihan for general evaluation to go over the evaluation structure.
Okay, so I would like to introduce the first evaluator, which will be Diego, for our first speech, which is given by Ms. Carey.
Who are you evaluating?
You did, Mark.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
You did.
Awesome. David. Would you like to introduce David? Make sure you guys are paying attention.
That's right.
For
We're paying
minutes.
attention. That's right.
Change the meeting minutes right now. Hi, everyone. I was scared for a moment there because if I was going to evaluate Maurice, I was not prepared. I thought I was in the wrong, but I'm glad I'm evaluating Carrie. So I think Carrie has made progress. This is her 4th speech, and she has taken feedback from the other speeches and applied it. I've seen that. I like the topic. I think she used exercise, but basically just anything that you want to do every day, it's important to develop a way of doing that, and I think she took that point across well. I'll go over the basic points here. Like starting with clarity, she was easy to understand. I understood her well. She had 5 different categories or topics relating to it, and it had a beginning and a body and an end, just like she should. Vocal variety, I think you've really seen some improvement there. There were times when you were just so excited, you were just yelling, but that was good. That got people's attention. It made me see that it's not just mundane, monotone. Eye contact, I think you did well moving around and looking around the room, but one thing I look for, the really speakers that, I've been in a room before as an audience member with say 100 people, and somehow I felt like the speaker was just looking like right at me, and I think I kind of missed some of that. It's good, a lot of people do this, just kind of look around the room, but it's good to actually look at individuals and just make that eye contact. Just an observation, but overall that was good. You really excelled, I believe, at gesturing. This time especially, the gestures were just a step above. Not just because like when I gesture, I kind of do this sometimes, and I don't know what I'm doing, but you really gave thought into it and emphasized using certain gestures, and I was really happy with that. Audience awareness was pretty good. I think you were looking around the room, observing what people were doing. The comfort level was definitely up there. You seemed comfortable. It was an interesting topic. I think it was, as far as research, I think you did some research, but you really did a lot of giving your own personal experiences and examples, which people can relate to better than just reading something out of a book. So that was fine. So overall, I would say you excelled at gestures and enthusiasm that goes with that. You were enthusiastic. You may want to work on eye contact a little bit, not just looking around the room, but just that specific eye contact. And to challenge yourself, I wrote, pretend you're at the bubble tea shop, which is a little bubble tea shop we go to sometimes and play games with some friends. But pretend you're there and just talking to your friends and just looking at each of them in the eye, just excitedly talking about different subjects, and that's just an idea just to make it. But overall, you did very good. I appreciate your speaking.
Thank you. All right, for our next speech evaluation, I'd like to welcome Diego, and he'll be evaluating Maurice's speech, an interesting work story.
Thank you, Cheyenne. I had the great pleasure of evaluating a veteran Toastmasters prepared speech tonight, which is none other than Maurice. I just have a few questions that I was suggested from. I just want to go over a few main points that I want to communicate to Maurice. There is a comment about describing the talk's organization as you perceived it. And Maurice did a good job of setting the stage and explaining what type of characters we should be expecting in this work story that he's going to be explaining. It very much seems to be communicating that there are people here who are out to Shanghai him and exploit him and take advantage of his demeanor and his expertise and his standing in the organization. So it was good of him to help set the stage of what characters we were going to be experiencing in the story. How effectively did the speaker use vivid description and anecdotes or stories? Maurice, I thought a good way that you augmented your storytelling was when you opened, rather than saying, I opened the door and this fellow pushed me into the room, you actually demonstrated with your body you being pulled into the pipe shop by these fellows and who clearly were out to take advantage of you. So it was good that you were incorporating your entire body and incorporating gestures in order to communicate what you were feeling and what you were experiencing in the story at that moment. So that was good. Some comments about improvements, some areas of improvements I want to share with Maurice are, Maurice, I felt that there was not enough eye contact tonight. I felt like you were either looking at the back or you were looking straight down at the lectern. And I would encourage you to incorporate more sweeping eye motions or say looking directly at an audience member briefly. But Maurice, I think a very strong point in your storytelling abilities that I think you should continue to communicate is the sarcasm. So there was a moment where you said that really tickled me, was when you said, wow, there's a lawyer, there's a degree lawyer working in a pipe shop. This is something. This is interesting. That was a very, I really felt that that was really like 100% Maurice there. You were really communicating, and you really felt way more comfortable sharing. I think that was one of the most comfortable moments I could see you on stage tonight, was incorporating that sarcasm and getting the audience to laugh. I think everyone in the room was laughing at that point when you said it just that way. So I think more sarcasm is good. It's a great storytelling technique that you should continue to exercise. The final thing I want to share was, it was good that you wrapped up with a moral of the story about explaining like it's important for you to hold your ground and not give in when there are people who are trying to take advantage of you. That was a great way to conclude the speech. Those are my general evaluation comments that I have to share about Maurice's speech, and I'm going to return the lectern back to our general evaluator. Thank you so much.
Now we'll get our reports, and then I will wrap up with a general evaluation. So if we could please hear from our timer first.
Hey everybody, so for the speeches, Carrie had 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Maurice, you had 7 minutes and 7 seconds. Then for table topics, Diego, you had 2 minutes, 4 seconds. Cheyenne, you had 54 seconds. Olivia, you had 1 minute and 15 seconds. Luke, you had 52 seconds. And then for the evaluation, David, you had 3 minutes and 29 seconds. And then Diego, you had 3 minutes and 26 seconds.
All right, thank you. And could I hear from our all-counter next?
All right, good evening, everybody. So in no particular order, Majid, I counted 4 ums and 5 uhs. Kyler, none. Cheyenne, I counted 1 Ben, none. Carrie, none. Olivia, I counted 1 and 1 David, 2 ums and 5 uhs. Diego, 2 ums. Luke, I'll go ahead and put down a third. 3 ums. And Maurice, I did not catch it.
Okay, thank you. And next, can I Shanghai the grammarian and to give it a report?
Okay, Cheyenne, I'll count that for you. So, I don't know whether to feel upset or impressed at how many times we used the word Shanghai today, because I feel like every time we use Shanghai, we were being manipulated in some way, shape, or form. So that's not good. But let's see. Majid, I did not see any misuses of the English language and used the word of the day. Excellent work. Luke, I do not have any comments about you misusing the English language, but you did not say the word of the day. Ben, no misuse of the English language. Kyler, no misuse of the English language, but you also did use the word of the day, which is great. Cheyenne did use the word of the day and no misuse of the English language. Carrie, the only comment I have to share with you for your speech was you were describing a particular day. I think you said like a good day, a bad day, a disappoint day. And I wanted to correct you, and it is a disappointing day. But otherwise, that was the only comment I had to share. Maurice, you used the word of the day 3 times. Impressive. That's the high score for today. No misuse of the English language. Diego, I only used the word of the day once.
3 times.
Okay, thank you.
What happened? You just used it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't counting that, but sure. I won't say no to free brownie points. I'm sorry, Luke. Apparently, you did use the word of the day earlier because when we manipulated you. Yes, that's right. I apologize. Let the record be corrected. Olivia, I did not count you using the word of the day or misuse of the English language. David, no misuse of the English language nor word of the day. And that is the grammarian report. I'm going to return the lecture back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for your reports. And I will now begin my general evaluation. So we did start a few minutes late, but that's all right. Things happen. We had a smaller group. I noticed this is our first week without guests in a while, so hopefully we didn't scare them off when they come back. But it's nice every once in a while to have a more relaxed. So I feel like we try to be more structured when we have guests. We can kind of let our hair down a little bit when it's just the core group. But our speeches were awesome. Carrie, I wrote down your quote, motivation does not change your life, action does. That's deep. You should copyright that because it's awesome. And then our second speech was really good. I feel like we always have that one coworker that tries to get you to stray from that moral compass, but just so they can have someone to throw on the bus later. We also had someone like that, and then they say, well, Cheyenne said, like, skirt, no. So yeah, I liked your speech as well, but I'm not the only one who has dealt with that in the past. Table topics were good. Nice change with giving a question after you volunteer. It gives us a little split, a little less time to think about it. And I liked Luke's topic and a quote that Kyler said that I will now use forever against you is organization is art. So you said it. You said it.
I'm not good at
so those dishes, artwork.
I am
so.
envious. I'm trying to change that in my mind.
But those dishes, they're artwork. So
I didn't do the dishes. This is how this actually happened.
it was a good time. So Monday is something I always look forward to. It's a nice activity to choose to come after work after you're tired, and it's always a good time. So that concludes my general evaluation, and I will turn it over for the education overview.
I like the fist bump.
I can't left hand shake. It doesn't.
I know at church, I'm like going around shaking when everyone's like, what do I do? I'm like, how do I do it? Yeah. All right, good evening, everybody. So I'm going to do my moment of truth for the education overview. So it's program planning and meeting organization. So I found that Diego sent a handout, and I believe Maurice sent the same one. I found about 6 points that go into program planning and meeting organization. The first point is program and agenda publicized and advanced. So this is where Easy Speak really comes into play. Easy Speak is a very useful tool that helps us electronically update agendas, assign and accept roles, request speeches, confirm or deny attendance, and helps us organize the meeting by roles and position as best we can, hours, days, and even weeks before we actually attend the meeting. So this is highly beneficial to making the meeting run smoothly, people getting on there and accepting so we know who is coming and who is not coming. Now, there are changes that need to be made to the agenda at most of the meetings upon arrival for last minute changes, and that is okay because the bulk of the agenda has already been completed. Members remaining flexible and ready to adapt to fill other leadership roles and speaking positions is very appreciative by everybody, but especially those who are running the meeting, such as our president, Diego, and our Toastmaster for the night. So remaining flexible to fill other roles, often at the last minute, leads me to my second point, and that is members know program responsibilities and are prepared to carry out all assignments. So challenging ourselves to take on different leadership roles only helps us grow and pushes us outside our normal comfort zones. It also helps, as in what we just discussed, with flexibility in helping ensure that roles get filled with any last-minute changes. At the beginning of each meeting, regardless if guests are in attendance, just like tonight, we verbally go over what the roles are comprised of. This not only helps us remind what the responsibilities are, but it also gives a chance for those people who are not in a prominent speaking position, such as an evaluator or speaker, to have a chance to speak. So stepping up and being ready to challenge yourselves on new roles helps us grow as Toastmasters and leaders. And this is why we all volunteer on Monday nights to come to meetings just like tonight. So volunteering leads me to my third point, and that is all projects are manual. So you might ask yourself what manual means, because I did. So manual to me means putting forth personal effort. So joining and attending Toastmaster meetings, it's all volunteer. We're all here in the room tonight for varying reasons, but it's all tied around leadership and speaking. Taking time out of your normal day to prepare speeches, practice speeches, review roles, develop table topics and educational overviews just like tonight. This is all manual work that has to be put in on top of your already packed day that most of us have. But putting in the time to make sure that your roles and duties are taken care of to the best of your abilities not only helps you improve, but helps the meeting run smoothly as a whole. So my fourth point, meetings begin and end on time. So I'm sure that most of us don't have enough time in the day already to get everything done that we need to. So having our meetings start and end on time allows us to know when we would be getting out and getting home, but it also serves as a discipline that benefits us in our regular lives and our work lives. So being punctual and on time, especially for meetings, presentations, or other important projects, is crucial to show our responsibility and very important time management for ourselves and others. So point 5, creative table topics and activities. So table topics gives others not in a speaking role a chance to get up, speak, and practice impromptu speaking. And this happens to us pretty much on a daily basis. So table topics does not have to be the most random questions you can think of or find, but they can be subjects such as holidays or worldly events even. That's just for an example. They can even be tailored to individual on certain subjects. This allows the person to speak a little easier on something they know. And it also helps us as a group to get to know that person maybe a little bit better. So take the time to put in the manual labor and thought and really try to make table topics your own if you can. It will definitely show in the outcome and help table topics, which I find to be hard, maybe to be a little bit more enjoyable for everybody. So my sixth and final point for program planning and meeting organization is positive and helpful evaluations. So being an evaluator, I feel, is a really hard task. Listening intently, you're making sure you're trying to fill out all your criteria while you're listening to the speech. You're critiquing others, which is always kind of hard for some people. It's hard for me too. And having a report to present in a very short time is a hard task, but it's a very needed task. We're all here to improve, and one of the best ways to improve is to listen to feedback on evaluations and to watch the videos that Maurice takes the time to record for us and upload. I think every time I've spoke, or even the meetings that I've missed, because Maurice put those up and I get the notification, I watch them. So thanks. So asking your mentor for his or her advice is another way or another great tool to use, or asking other Toastmaster members. There is a lot of varying experience in this Toastmaster Club, and using the tools that you have and reaching out for others, reaching out for advice from others is invaluable to your success and growth. And that concludes my education overview, and I will turn the lectern back over to our Toastmaster.
I think we're almost heading towards the end of our meeting. I'd like to welcome our President Diego. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Najib. And thank you everyone tonight for participating in a very successful Toastmasters meeting. Thank you to our members who are taking on important roles. Going back to Luke's comment about the more energy you put into Toastmasters, the more you get out from it. And the more you are willing to take part and be part of that evaluation period of our meeting tonight is really, really important, and really one of the biggest reasons why the Toastmaster investment really returns dividends for your public speaking experience and confidence in yourself. So thank you very much, Luke, for highlighting again the importance of member engagement and the education aspects of our Toastmasters program. Thank you so much. In order to be respectful of everyone's time, I will now close the meeting, and hopefully everyone will sign up on EasySpeak next week so we can have a nice agenda for next week. Thank you all so much, and see you next week.